It was supposed to be the end of a legendary mission. On September 15th, 2017, NASA's Cassini spacecraft plunged into Saturn's atmosphere, ending a 20-year journey across our solar system. Billions watched the final moments live. Scientists stood in silence as the signal from Cassini slowly faded, until there was nothing left but static. But here's the thing. Just minutes before contact was lost, Cassini sent back one last transmission, an image. An image that NASA never released to the public. Not in press kits, not in scientific journals, not even in the mission archive. That image vanished. What did Cassini capture in its final moments? And why has NASA kept it hidden for over 7 years? Some say it was simply corrupted. Others believe it showed something too shocking to reveal. A structure, a light, or perhaps something alive. And then there's the strange part. One of the lead engineers on the mission, anonymously, posted on a restricted forum. We were told to scrub the last packet, not because it was unreadable, but because it was too clear. Too clear? What could be so clear that it had to be deleted? Whatever it was, the full image was never shown again. Only a fragment, a single distorted pixel frame, leaked online months later. And what it shows has fueled theories ever since. Because if Cassini's last image wasn't meant for us to see, maybe it wasn't meant for us at all. Cassini's final descent wasn't chaotic. It was meticulously planned. NASA had mapped out every second of the fall. From the moment the spacecraft began its dive into Saturn's upper atmosphere, every instrument was calibrated, cameras pointed, sensors locked, data streaming. And, at precisely 6:31 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Cassini began transmitting its last data packets, images, atmospheric readings, magnetic field shifts. According to the official timeline, it continued sending information for about 83 seconds as it entered the denser layers of Saturn's hydrogen-rich atmosphere. Then, silence. But here's where things get strange. All the raw data from that final minute, pressure readings, temperature spikes, radiation levels, was publicly released, except the last image. Cassini had a high-gain antenna aligned with Earth. Its cameras were active, and yet NASA only published a second-to-last image, a wide shot of Saturn's hazy horizon, taken 13 seconds before signal loss. No close-up, no final shot, nothing else. They said the last image was too degraded to interpret, but internal logs revealed the image had completed its transmission. The checksum verified. The packet arrived. It wasn't corrupted, it was deleted. A JPL insider, whose name was redacted in leaked emails, wrote, "The last optical frame is not fit for public consumption. Recommend secure archival only. Not fit for public consumption." What does that even mean? This wasn't a nuclear secret. It was a science mission. Unless Cassini saw something it shouldn't have, something unexpected, something that challenged everything scientists believed about Saturn, its rings, its moons, or what lay beneath its clouds. Some speculate the image revealed a geometric anomaly, a perfect hexagonal structure, similar to the one already known at Saturn's North Pole, but far more defined. Others believe it caught a brief flash of light, an emission not aligned with any known natural phenomenon, and a few, the boldest ones, suggest it was a ship, a massive silhouette, hovering in the upper layers, visible only in the infrared. We may never know for sure, because the one image that could have answered everything was the one NASA chose to erase. A few months after Cassini's mission ended, a strange image surfaced online. It was buried deep in an astronomy subreddit, posted by a newly created account with no history, no name, just one message. Fragment from the last frame. Do with it what you will. The image was grainy. Just 240 by 240 pixels. Heavily compressed, heavily distorted. At first glance, it looked like noise, static. But then, image analysts started enhancing it. They adjusted the contrast, sharpened the edges, ran it through infrared and gamma correction filters. And that's when something took shape. A curved arc, a sharp line intersecting it, and a faint central glow, like a core or an eye. It wasn't a planet, it wasn't a ring, it wasn't anything consistent with Cassini's expected final orientation, and it certainly wasn't noise. One physicist, who reviewed the pixel data independently, wrote, "This is not compression artifact. This is structured. Whatever it is, it's reflecting light in a deliberate geometry." That word, deliberate, sparked a wildfire. Some claimed it was proof of artificial construction near Saturn. A satellite, a craft, an observation post buried in the clouds. Others warned it was pareidolia, the human brain seeing patterns in chaos. But here's the detail everyone missed. The color spectrum in that image was off. There were bands of red and violet that didn't match the atmospheric conditions of Saturn's known layers. Those hues were non-native. In other words, that light wasn't from Saturn. It was emitted, or reflected, by something else. NASA, of course, made no comment. In fact, within 24 hours of the post, the image was removed by moderators, the account deleted, and when users tried to archive the post, they were met with error messages. File not found. Luckily, a few people had already saved the image. It now circulates quietly among a community of deep space watchers, those who believe that Cassini didn't just fall into Saturn. It saw something first, and whatever it was never meant to be captured, let alone broadcast to Earth. In the months following Cassini's final descent, one voice emerged from within the silence. A senior imaging specialist from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, known only by the alias Vera 17, began leaving breadcrumbs online. At first, it was subtle. She replied to technical threads on obscure science forums, referencing discrepancies in Cassini's data log. Then she began posting more directly. One message stood out. The final image showed more than light. It showed symmetry, structure, shadow. The post was quickly deleted, but it was enough. Internet sleuths traced metadata, forum caches, and timestamps, linking Vera 17 to a real employee inside the Cassini mission's final imaging team. She had clearance, she had access, and she had a warning. In another now-deleted thread, she wrote, "There was an internal memo at JPL advising staff not to speak to media about unscheduled image activity during the final 90 seconds. Unscheduled image activity. That wasn't just technical jargon. That was code for something unplanned, something unexpected captured by the camera array. Shortly after these posts, Vera 17 vanished. No more logins, no more replies. Her Reddit account was wiped. Her professional profile disappeared. Some claimed she was silenced. Others believed she was a hoax from the start. But then, a journalist from a European science publication received an anonymous tip. Attached was an email chain between JPL staff, dated 3 days before Cassini's descent. The subject line? Containment Protocol, Imaging Anomaly Risk. The body of the email discussed preliminary AI detection triggers being disabled temporarily to avoid false positives during final frame analysis. Why would NASA disable automatic object recognition right before the final image, unless they knew what they were looking for and didn't want it flagged? This wasn't just about science anymore. It was about control, about managing perception, about deciding what humanity should or should not see. And perhaps Vera 17's greatest warning wasn't what she revealed, but how quickly it was erased. Because if one image could cause this much internal panic, then maybe Cassini didn't die in silence. Maybe it died under surveillance. Officially, Cassini was launched to study Saturn's rings, moons, and magnetic field. It was science, nothing more. But behind the public-facing goals, there were rumors. rumors that NASA had picked up anomalies near Saturn long before Cassini arrived. In 1980 and 1981, both Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 flew past the gas giant. They captured stunning photos of Saturn's rings, but also recorded strange electromagnetic disturbances, low-frequency bursts, highly directional, repeating. At the time, scientists dismissed them as magnetospheric noise, but the data was stored quietly. 2 decades later, when Cassini approached Saturn, those same patterns re-emerged. Only this time, they were stronger, sharper, and strangely coordinated. Some of Cassini's early orbits were adjusted, not publicly announced, to bring it closer to the source of the signals. Internal mission logs reference a set of flybys labeled non-primary science. These weren't part of the original plan. One in particular, Rev 91, took Cassini dangerously close to Saturn's outer atmosphere, skimming regions where no data was expected. Except Cassini found something. A localized magnetic anomaly, barely detectable but consistent over multiple passes. It wasn't shaped like a natural field. It pulsed. It rotated. It behaved like a machine. And then came the real shock. On 2 separate occasions, Cassini's high-resolution camera locked onto something in the upper cloud layers, something reflective, geometric, with an outline that didn't match any known rock, ice, or debris formation. The images weren't included in press releases, only mentioned in an internal briefing codenamed Aeon Signal. That codename was never explained, but some believe it refers to an ancient construct, something that predates our understanding of Saturn. Could it be artificial? A remnant of something lost? A probe? A listening post? Whatever it was, Cassini kept orbiting, kept observing, until its final dive. But here's what few realize. Cassini didn't have to crash. NASA chose to end the mission, citing contamination risk to Saturn's moons. But some believe that was a cover story, that Cassini was never meant to leave Saturn, because it had already seen too much. And if the last image proves anything, it's that we were never alone in the data. Cassini is gone. Its body was incinerated in Saturn's atmosphere, reduced to dust and vapor within seconds. Its cameras, dark. Its instruments, silent. Its story, unfinished. What we were told is this: Cassini completed its mission. Cassini gave us beautiful images. Cassini ended with dignity. But what if the real story was never about how the spacecraft ended, but what it saw right before it did? One image, one frame, deleted. Not corrupted, not lost, erased. And with it, the questions only grow. Why would NASA remove the one image that could have sealed Cassini's legacy? Why disable AI object recognition in the final 90 seconds? Why silence internal voices trying to speak out? The answers aren't in the press releases. They're in the gaps, in the metadata, in the vanishing pixels, in the whispers from those who were there, but are no longer allowed to speak. We may never know what Cassini truly saw, but maybe that's the point. Because the universe doesn't always reveal its secrets in flashes of light or bursts of sound. Sometimes, it speaks through what's missing. A file that's not there. A silence that lasts too long. An image. We're told we shouldn't see, but here's the truth. Whatever Cassini witnessed, NASA made a choice. To protect us. To protect the narrative. Or to protect something else. And that choice should make us all ask, if the final image of Cassini was too dangerous to show, then how many other images have we never seen? If you believe the truth deserves to be seen, subscribe for deeper investigations like this one. Because out there, beyond Saturn, beyond Cassini, there are still spacecraft flying, still watching, still sending signals home. And the next time a transmission goes missing, you'll know exactly what to look for.